Please, one higher roll so I can finish him. No. Hello everybody. Today we are going to play through Pokemon Emerald with an unusual Pokemon. I am not sure how I feel about it. Whismur and his evolutions always seemed cool to me, but they are just missing that edge to make them great, so they always got overshadowed by other Pokemons. The rules are as always the same, but let's go over them for any newcomers. I can only use my starter in combat, I can't use any items in combat, I can't raise my evasion, and I can't use any cheats or glitches. Whismur's stats are not that different from Makuhita, to be honest. Still slow and frail, just a bit more special attack. Since it's a normal type in Gen 3, it has a decently wide move pool, so we are going to make good use of both our attack stats. Ultimately, I think I will use physical attacks a bit more because return is that good, especially since it's stab. The first fight against May went pretty well. Because I have stab on my moves, I can do quite a bit of damage against Torchic. The fight against the Grunt in the forest is not that different. Since Whismur has a medium slow growth rate, I got a couple more levels than usual. So the Puchiena did not stand a chance and we pounded it into the ground. Roxanne was not that easy though. I had to level up to 21 to get supersonic, so hopefully I could stall her for a bit while I used a few howls to raise my attack, since my best move is Astonish with a pitiful 30 base power. It took quite a few attempts to get good RNG. The problem is that after two rock tombs, I am going to be slower than them, so Astonish will not be able to flinch them, and even at plus 3, my damage is not that great. Meanwhile, their damage is pretty good. Not as high as I expected, but I definitely can't take a lot of hits. I could have made my life a bit easier if I leveled to 25 and learned Stomp, since it does a bit more damage, but I did not want to spend more time grinding. Against the Nosepass, I got a bit lucky because he did not attack me, and I also got a crit to skip the potion phase. After defeating Roxanne, we rescued Pico as always. The grunt was easy, I just spammed pound. Next, I took on May again. She was also easy. Pound with stab is still a good move, but I'm surprised that Torchic outsped me. Next, I fought Brawly. It might seem crazy to do the fighting gym now, but I just learned Stop and I'm confident that it will carry me through the gym. I also used Howl since I know I'm faster than his Pokémons, and so I sort of surprisingly swept the gym. After getting the second gym badge, I made my way to Slateport. Here I fought the two grunts to stop them from stealing the submarine parts. Those fights were very easy as I just spammed Stomp over and over. Since it's a contact move, I took the rough skin damage, but it's not a lot, so those guys were not a problem at all. After we took care of that situation, I had to fight May again. This time it was harder since Combusken can really mess me up. Surprisingly, I only lost once because her AI decided to take a vacation apparently. Combusken did not use double kick, so I was able to survive and take it out. Well, that was lucky. I'm definitely going to pay karma back later though. The next stop is at the casino because I sold everything I owned to buy the flamethrower TM. With this new move, the Watson fight should be a bit more doable. I still lost a couple of times since my special defense is quite bad, but eventually I got through. I used a howl because if I don't, the Manectric can stall me with potions. Magneton melted from my attack, but still managed to deal some damage to me. As I said, thanks to the boost, the potion that Watson uses don't really matter, so I'm able to defeat his ace too and get the badge. I'm sure this gym would have been a lot harder if I did not use Flamethrower. We then have to stop the Team Magma leader from flooding the region in hot lava. The fight against him was not that bad. I can use Flamethrower for his first two Pokémons, so I can ignore the Intimidate from my Tiena. Unfortunately, his last Pokémon is resistant to fire, so I have to switch to Stomp. It does not do that much damage, but it's enough for a two-shot. Once we stop him, we have to move on and face the next gym. I was kinda worried about Flannery, mostly because her Pokémons are physically tanky and can do a lot of damage to me with Overhit. To fix one of the two problems, I used a few howls against her lead, so that I would have enough damage for the rest of her team. They are all very slow, so even if I have bad speed, I can outspeed and one-shot them thanks to the boost. Well, now I know to keep Howl in my moveset. Up next is our dad. We have to face his team in the normal gym, and here I got spanked quite a bit. As usual, his lacking can demolish me with Facade, so this was the first major wall in this run. I tried to set up against Pinda and then sweep, but that did not work at all. So I started using Flamethrower, maybe I could get a burn. Instead, I got a crit, which is even better. I also used Howl in his AFK turns, so I could deal with the rest of his team. Even if they are faster than me, thankfully one does not crit and the other uses belly drum, so I was able to finally beat this gym and get the 5th badge. We then had to explore more of the region and save the scientists in the Weather Institute. Soon after doing that, I had to fight May for another time. Even if her team improved, I have a lot of levels on her Pokémons, so the match against her was not very hard. I was even faster than Pelipper and Combusken. Lombre must have Swift Swim, since he outsped me. Next up is the next gym, where we have to defeat Winona. Her team was not the worst, especially because I have Flamethrower for Skarmory, but I still could get outsped by a couple of Pokémons, so the fight could have gone badly. But they did not do much. I got stalled a bit at Pelipper, since I could not quite one-shot it, and she kept using potions on it. After a while of fighting, we can get her badge without having to reset a single time. After dealing with her, as usual, I went to Lilycove. Here I fought the last fight with May. Her team is still not very impressive. Thankfully, I did not have to eat my words and reset, mostly because my moveset is pretty good at the moment, and I can still outspeed Combusken, which is the main threat in her team. The next stop is in Groudon's cave, where we are supposed to stop Maxi from reviving him, but we arrived too late, so we have to fight Maxi once again. This time his team is a bit stronger, but we can still manage him. I again used special moves to ignore the Intimidate, and against the Camerupt, Ice Beam and Hyper Voice were about the same, so I used Ice Beam. But then he used Amnesia, so I switched and got the kill with a crit. After Maxi runs away, we have a lot of grinding to do because the next fight is against Tate and Liza. I already did this run a few years ago and remember them being problematic, so I used most of my rare candies to get to level 80. This way the fight was not that hard, but still kinda close. One crit from them could have easily led to a loss. Fortunately, they don't get it, so I'm free to shoot as many shadow balls as I can to defeat them. Soon after this fight, there is the one with Steven against Team Magma. This one shouldn't be that bad, but it can still be hard if all of their Pokémons focus their attention on me and bring me down. Their AI is not that smart though, so most of the time, like this one, they are going to spread their damage quite a bit. Most of my moveset is physical now, so the intimidates are starting to hurt a lot. Ice Beam is not a bad move, but all things considered, it can't really destroy all of his Pokémon in one shot. So the fight seemed longer than usual, but eventually, after some hard fighting, we got through and defeated Mexi for the last time in this playthrough. The next major fight in the run is the one against Archie, the Team Aqua leader, whom you have to fight only once in this game. His team is not bad, with a couple of fast glass cannons. Once again, Ice Beam is the main move I use, both to ignore the attack drop and because it's super effective on the bat. Unfortunately, it's resisted by the Sharpedo, but since it does not have good defenses, even a weakened return is enough to take it out. Even if we stopped him, the orb activates by itself and wakes up Kyogre from its slumber. Here we have to do the usual stuff to wake up Rayquaza, so it can stop the other two legendaries. And as usual, I am going to ask for a like and a subscription if you are enjoying the content. And let's be honest, if you are still watching the video, you are liking it, or you fell asleep. Either way, it's time to fight Juan. His team could be problematic because he has a couple of tanky Pokémons that are going to survive my attacks. So I used Howl to raise it by a few stages. Meanwhile, Latvizic confuses me and makes me fall in love with it. Once I get through, I take it out, and then proceed with the rest of the team. Now that I'm boosted, I can take them out easily as long as I'm faster than them. That is the case for all of them, except for the Kindra, who tries to double team, but whismur sees through it and puts an end to it. That went better than I expected, to be honest. Next, we have to fight Wally in the Victory Road. His team is kinda scary. A couple of Pokémons outspeed me, and since I removed the Flamethrower, all of my moves are resisted by the Magneton. I don't know why, but I used Ice Beam against it instead of Return. Thankfully, I did not get paralyzed, so I can finish him next turn and move on to the rest of his team. His ace outspeeds me, but only uses Future Sight, so I can blow him up with Shadow Ball. Well, it's finally time to start the league. This time I went in just after using all the rare candies, so I was at level 89. I had a strong suspicion that it would not be enough, but you never know when a miracle could happen. Sidney was easy. I can use Ice Beam for most of his Pokémons, I only had to switch to return for Kronaast since he resisted. Sidney also uses some potions, so I had to sit here for a while, but eventually I got through. Absol surprisingly leads a hit, but just sets up so I can finish him the next turn. Up next is Phoebe. She should have been easy, but I lost 2 times. Turns out I don't have quite enough damage for Dusclops, so he used Curse. On the successful attempt, I used Howl while he protects, so now I'm able to one-shot not only her lead, but her whole team. I knew keeping Howl would come in handy. I was also using Quick Glow for a chance of going first, but it did not seem to matter. Apparently I'm faster than all of her Pokémons. Next is Glacia, and I couldn't do it. I tried her about 15 times, but every time I got defeated by either Walrein or the second Glalie. So I decided to leave and come back stronger. At level 100, it's so much easier. I don't get outsped by her Pokémons and have enough damage after one howl to one-shot all of her team, so the fight went quite flawlessly. I just took some damage from hail that was set up while I was boosting. Incredible how much difference just 10 levels can make. Anyway, with Glacia defeated, we are missing just the last Elite Four. For Drake, I have Ice Beam, so it's only a question of how many of his Pokémon can outspeed me. Turns out that the only ones who can are Kingdra, Flygon, and Salamence. After Kingdra, things were not looking too good, but I then got a Quick Claw proc and froze the Flygon to death without taking any damage. That allows me to endure a Dragon Claw and close the fight with one last Ice Beam. I'm not going to lie, seeing how Glacia went, I was kinda worried for the champion fight. I lost once because of Toxic. I used Howl once while the Wailord was setting up the rain, so I should have enough attack at least until Gyarados comes out. I get a crucial dodge against the Tentacruel, and then I take out his next 2 Pokémons, even if Ludicolo tries to troll me. At this point, he sends out the Gyarados. I have Shockwave for it, but I misclicked. Thankfully, it did not matter, as Wallace used a potion the next turn and the one after that. Once I finally electrocute the Sea Snake, I have to take down his last Pokémon. Milotic uses Toxic, and that puts me on a timer. Wallace stalls me a lot, so I was expecting to lose because of the potions. But then he decides to use Ice Beam instead, and I miraculously live on 8 HP. Not even close, baby. Well, I don't think I can complain about the RNG in this run. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and click the bell icon to receive a notification when I upload a new video. Also, take a guess about next week's video in the comments. See you next week. Bye!